friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin and I am so excited that you decided to take time out of your day to spend with me, because today, friends, we are doing a book haul. This is the second one that I will have posted this year, and basically it's just books that I've bought over the last couple of months. I don't know how long, but yeah, and we got a lot of books to get through. If you can see these stacks behind me, so I'm not even gonna hold you. Let us just go ahead and hop into this video. All right, first book I want to talk about is Blood and Brujas, and this is by Michaela D. Hornetto, something like that. And this is the first book in the Fate of the Acna series, and I'm really excited to get into this. I've been looking at it for a while and I just finally decided to pick it up. I'm thinking this is going straight to my fall TBR. It just gives those vibes. In this, we follow Dayanara, who from the moment she could wield a blade, she's been used as a weapon for the Caldera, a kingdom of fierce Brujas. Whenever her mother, the all-powerful Acna, points her in the direction to kill, Dayanara follows. After centuries of war against the vampire kingdom at their border, her mother offers their king Dayanara's hand in marriage as a truce. Their agreement is bound by magic, and Dayanara must decide if she wants to kill the king, seduce the king, or embrace the union. Of course, she comes across a few people who further complicate her predicament. On the bright side, the marriage is set to make her the next Acna, granting her all the power that comes with the role. Depending on how much the goddess Naom gives her, it could be enough to regain control of her life, or maybe everything will crumble beyond repair. Next up is The Case of Elmwood Ranch by Deanna Gray. I'm really excited to have a new book by Deanna Gray to read because I absolutely love Outdrawn. It's one of my favorites of all time. And this says Elmwood Ranch is Octavia Daniels' dreams, a safe place to land after years on the road. But once she signs the paperwork and receives the keys, the nightmare begins. Shadows move on their own, strange accidents become the norm, and injured ranch hands refuse to work a second longer. Octavia doesn't believe in ghosts, but she can't deny something's wrong with the land she sunk her entire savings into. Ray Jones is in the business of ending nightmares. She comes from a family of successful paranormal investigators, but she set herself apart from the Jones sisters by making their legacy into commercial success. After years of enjoying said success, she's hit a wall. Whether it's burnout or a full-blown existential crisis, she doesn't know. One way to try to avoid a downward spiral: take every interesting job she can get. And that includes one from a very standoffish, non-believing horse rancher who thinks she's a scam artist and the things she hunts don't exist. Octavia and Ray must figure out how to work together if they have any hope of solving what's truly going on at Elmwood. As they build trust, they begin to build something more, something that could either help or harm their chances of making it out of this haunting alive. Again, like, look at this cover. This is going straight to my fall TBR as well. Next, we have my book of the month book from April, and that is Annie Knows Everything by Rachel Wood. And in this, we follow Annie, who, after getting let go from her job and learning her sister is engaged to the worst man alive, Annie needs a win. Luckily, she's able to talk her way into an opening on her company's data strategy team, whatever that means. So what if she doesn't know how to write code? How hard can it be? Shirley Connor, the team's overworked, aggravating, and distractingly hot interim head, will soon realize how capable Annie is. Annie sets her sight on landing this new job, even if that means ignoring the chemistry building between her and her new boss. And she tries to gently convince her sister to reconsider her engagement. But with sparks flying at work and at home, she begins to see how complicated taking matters into her own hands can be. Maybe, just maybe, Annie doesn't actually know everything. I just thought this sounded really cute. I had never read from this author before, and decided to give it a shot. My other April book of the month is Bloodbound by Ellis Hunter, and in this we're following Astrid, who is always known she is destined to die. She is the last Naxtern witch and heir to the Queendom of Arturia, something like that. Cursed by centuries old covenant to duel the heir to the kingdom of Vetra. for the source of all magic, the heart. And now Astrid's time is up. She is heading into enemy territory to face Prince Zyron, something like that, the most powerful dragon rider in eons, with only her familiar, her potions, and her wits to aid her. She is going to die, and any chance her queendom has of curing the blight that's ravaging the lands and killing her people will die with her. Meanwhile, deep in Dragon Country, Skylar and her traveling trope arrive in Vatra's capital, ready to profit off the legions of spectators swarming to the city ahead of the duel. She despises the royals and all they stand for, especially as the King's Guard murdered her mother. But when her best friend disappears, suspected to have been taken in the conscription, her search takes her closer to the royals than she could ever have imagined. As a duel looms over the kingdom, Skylar's and Astrid's fates intertwine. They must battle a growing rebellion, their inner demons, and ultimately those they love most, to determine if together they will save or doom their world. We have Year of the Mer by L.D. Lewis, and this is a dark, bloody, epic fantasy reimagining of The Little Mermaid. It follows Yemi, whose grandmother Ariel might have gotten her happily ever after, but Yemi is having a much harder time, despite being next in line to rule Ixia. Her family has faced whispers and slights from its own people for decades, in no small part due to Yemi's Mer ancestry. And these whispers have fermented into violence, with Yemi's father assassinated and her mother slowly succumbing to a poisoned wound. Though Yemi has been raised as the shield of the kingdom, she cannot shake her fury despite efforts from her patient mother and her steadfast bodyguard and fiancé, Nova. When Ixia's discontented rumblings erupt into a coup, Yemi loses her family and her throne and is forced into exile. Now, only one being has the power to help her, Ursula. Like her grandmother before her, Yemi is tempted by a deal with the Sea Witch. With such powerful and ancient magic, Yemi could avenge her family, take back her kingdom, and protect the love of her life. But she, more than anyone, should know that there is always a price. And as much as Yemi wants vengeance, Ursula has been waiting a very, very long time for her own. We have Witch Queen Rising by Savannah Stevens, and this is about a reclusive witch who fled the burden of her bloodline. For New Orleans witch kin, there is no greater honor than to become the prime, chosen to rule. But the title is meant to pass between two rival houses of magic, not to the wayward daughter of the former prime who died under mysterious circumstances. As a girl, Seraphine was dubbed the Tick Witch for her ability to feed on magic and make it her own. Even among those who alter fate and manipulate reality, she was a powerful outcast, feared and misunderstood by her people. Now dragged back to continue the legacy that nearly destroyed her, Fiend has her work cut out for her. She must earn the respect of her people, navigate the politics of the paranormal communities residing in her city, and heal a broken heart, all the while battling a parasitic curse poisoning witchkin. Between her werewolf egg, power-hungry vampires, and the skeletons in her family's closet, Fiend must learn to make peace with her past to save her and all of witchkin's future. This sounds really good, don't it? This is also going directly to my fall TBR. An Arcane Study of Stars by Sydney J. Shields. I'm super excited to get to this because I loved her first book, which was The Honey Witch. But in this one, we follow Claudia, who shouldn't be here. When rejected from Cygnus, her dream occult university, she was supposed to live out her life as the wife of an old man, a pawn sacrificed for her father's debts. But her celestial magic is rare enough to attract a nightmare named Dorian, and when he offers her a bargain, interest into Cygnus in exchange for his freedom, she accepts. As she unravels the mystery of Dorian's prison of stars, the only thing standing in her way is the handsome, cruel academic star of Cygnus, Cassius. What begins as a fierce rivalry evolves into something deeper, darker, and dangerously sensual. Now caught in the middle of an ancient curse, Claudia must decide who she can trust and who she must kill. And you know what I'm going to say. This haul is full of books that I am planning to read in the fall. So another. We have my June pick from Book of the Month, and that is The Shrouded Queen by Ashley Tropia, something like that. As a slave to the Ashoran royals, Samira has always known she was expendable. So when the vicious called folk attack, she is ready to die as a decoy for her princess. But when she's captured instead, she's forced to impersonate the princess and survive through the brutal trials, all under the watch of her dangerously intriguing, shape-shifting captor. Amunet now Queen of Ashura, is on the run following the king's death. With only her guard with benefits, Jasim, by her side, she must evade treacherous allies while racing to contact her father, the god of the underworld, before her long-promised powers slipped beyond reach. While Emunet embarks on a quest through the wastelands, Samira learns the true reason for the attack and unlocks secrets in her past that could change everything. And with threats growing on all sides, Samira and Emunet must decide who can they trust. Breakup for Two by E.M. Wilson. New York is the city of big dreams, elite cuisine, and whirlwind romance. Not whatever disaster Bree and Liam just survived. Dumped by their partners at the same restaurant on the same night, they lock eyes over the world's most humiliating coincidence and immediately start trauma bonding over cocktails strong enough to melt their dignity. What begins as mutual misery turns into flirty banter, bad decision energy, and a spark that absolutely refuses to stay friendly. Their "we're just helping each other move on" pact quickly becomes late night chats, lingering touches, and chemistry hot enough to torch the tables they were dumped at. But when the jokes get real and the feelings can't be ignored, Bree and Liam have to figure out if they're brave enough to risk their hearts again, because one more heartbreak might actually finish them. And this was just something like I never heard of before, so I'm like, yeah, I gotta give this a shot because it sounds kind of messy and like a little weird. So yeah, have to check this one out for sure. To Steal a Throne by Gabby Burton. I'm super excited about this one as well because I loved her first series, Sing Me to Sleep. So I got to see what she's up to next. And in this one, we're following Myra, who runs the court of Verde from the shadows. With magic fueled by lies, she collects dark secrets from members of court, using them as blackmail to keep her brother Luke in power as Verde's leader. Kadrin has magic of his own, magic that can detect the precise nature of someone else's magic with a single touch. Kadrin is after the throne, and Mira knows it could be his for the taking if he so much as brushes against her and discovers Myra has been manipulating the court with her powers for years. As Kadrin and Luke compete for the throne in the trials, 3 deadly challenges, Mira realizes, even as she fights to keep her brother in power, that no matter who wins, she'll be stuck serving someone else. She's done hiding in the shadows. She wants the throne for herself. To get it, she'll have to betray her own brother and Kadrin, but the fiercer the competition gets, the more Mira realizes that the one boy who could destroy everything is the one boy she might not be able to resist. And period. Yeah. Most Eligible by Isabel Engel. Something like that. Georgia Rose is not going on the hit reality show Love Shack to find love. She's there to write a killer expose on the producers, which will guarantee the journalism job of her dreams. But when Georgia's unforgettable one-night stand from the year before, country singer Rhett steps into the Malibu mansion as this season's new host, all her carefully crafted plans unravel. Caught up in the drama of backstabbing contestants, producer blackmail, and death-defying dates, Georgia must keep her identity and history with Rhett a secret. Despite the lies between them, it isn't long before Georgia and Rhett's heated behind-the-scenes moments start to feel more genuine than the romance Georgia's faking for the cameras. But with her assignment unfinished and the executive producer on her tail, a second chance with Rhett could be the riskiest move of all. Now, you know how I feel about second chance romances, but this has a journalism aspect in it, which I studied in college, so I'm just like a big journalism nerd, and then also a reality show aspect, which I love as well. So I'm feeling like those 2 things can cancel out the second chance and I'll be all right, if that makes any sense, which it probably doesn't, but it does to me. My July book of the month pick, In Stormy Weather by Chelsea Curdo. This is the first book of hers that that sounded like something I would enjoy. So I'm excited to give her a shot because I've heard good things, but like I said, this is the first synopsis that sounded like my vibe. And in this one, it says, nothing can rain on Quincy Monroe's parade. She's a woman in STEM with a PhD in atmospheric sciences and the host of a successful online weather show with 1 million followers on her meteorology Instagram. Quincy has spent endless hours forging her path in this male-dominated field, becoming one of the best in the industry. And with a new job opportunity, nothing can derail her success, except for the ill-timed arrival of Sebastian. Sebastian is her best friend's brother, her longtime academic and professional rival, and a flashy TV weatherman from New York City who everyone swoons over. Everyone except Quincy. During a scorching Florida summer and record-breaking hurricane season, Sebastian and Quincy are forced into close proximity. Setting aside their grudges to chase storms and stay alive is one thing, but can they weather the inevitable collision of their hearts? And I heard early reviews that this one spans through October, so I'm gonna try to get to it soon so I can read it in the time that it's happening, you know what I mean? And then lastly, we have my August book of the month picks. So I got The Poison Daughter by Sheila Masterson. I've seen this floating around on Kindle. It's been recommended to me a couple of times, and I don't know, I just decided to get it once I saw it on Book of the Month for August. It says that every person Harlow Caronwell kisses dies immediately, and that's the way she likes it. The poison-lipped youngest daughter of Lunamede's magical founding family has used her power to annihilate her opposition. Her first husband is in the ground. Her mysterious new betrothed is next. But Harlow has a secret. When she's not acting as an assassin at her parents' whim, she moonlights as a vigilante, hunting abusive men in their walled-off city. Meet a man, lure him in, kill him with a kiss, until one night Harlow kisses a mark and he doesn't die. Worse, the man immune to her kiss is her new betrothed, Henry, and now he knows about her double life. The only way to protect her secret and her city is to get close enough to Henry to learn why the Haven Woods are back after years of silence and what they have planned. Cursed with a husband she can't kill and trapped in a fortress surrounded by vampire-infested woods, Harlow's survival requires her to do the impossible. Make the man who knows she's a killer fall in love with her. And friends, I was unaware that this book was as big as it is. Okay, I see there's a bonus scene in the back, which is cool, but this is over 600 pages. She's a thick one. I wasn't aware. But yeah, this sounds really cool. And then for my add-on for August, I decided to get Maggie and Arthur's Magic Moment by Leslie Renee. I am a BFF for Book of the Month, so I get a free book for my birthday, and so I decided to get this one because I was on the fence about it. I wasn't exactly sure, but if I don't like it, no harm, no foul, because I ain't paid for it. So thanks to budget cuts that slashed her syllabus, linguistics and incantation translator Professor Maggie has had a hard year. To celebrate almost making it to the end of the spring semester, Maggie attends a magical masquerade on Beltane. Maybe the end of year frenzy explains why she kissed a masked stranger at the festival, though her celebration may have come too soon. An accident in the lab of famous and famously broody alchemist Arthur sets loose a dangerous, haunting magic called a pall that renders the nicer parts of their academic building uninhabitable. Maggie is assigned to share her tiny basement office with none other than Arthur himself. With his insufferable attitude and unfortunate good looks, Arthur makes it impossible for Maggie to concentrate on her research, her students' final exams, and tracking down her mysterious Beltane suitor. She'll do anything to get Arthur out of her office, even offering to help him reverse the magic that threatens the school. But Maggie is starting to realize her office mate may not be the conceited grump he pretends to be. In fact, much of what she thinks is true about Arthur is merely a mask. And yeah, this sounds like it could be a cute little fantasy romance, and I wanted to give it a shot. Okay, next we're going to go into some sequels that I have bought, but we're going to first start with an entire series that I bought because yeah, and that is the Lightbearer series by Iman Christians. We have Dragon Blind and Dragon Bride, and look at these covers. They are absolutely gorgeous. I'm obsessed. These are super cute. And this says, given the choice between men and dragons, I will choose the dragon every time. Same. But anyway, in a world where difference is exile, Asha, a blind princess with extraordinary perception, is entrusted with 3 dragon eggs, the first seen in centuries. When the egg survival becomes the key to saving her kingdom, Asha must harness her unique abilities to protect them on a treacherous journey. But her path is complicated by a dangerous alliance with a prince who sees her only as a pawn in his political games. As their fates intertwine, he begins to fall for the very woman he underestimated, and Asha must decide whether to trust him or forge her own destiny. Sounds good. I cannot wait to get to this. One of my most anticipated releases of 2026 is finally in my hands, and that is A Clash of Carnivores by Lascelles Lamberry. This is the second book in the Mastery of Monsters trilogy, and I cannot wait to pick this up. You will be seeing me read this ASAP-ish because I just need to know. I need to know. This is a dark academia fantasy situation. The first book has trials in it, and yeah, I just loved everything about the first book, and I can't wait to get my hands on this one. Well, to read it. All Hell Chaos by Sarah Reese Brennan. This is the second book in the Time of Iron series, and this is a fantasy series where we follow this girl who is about to die from cancer, but then she is given this opportunity to go into her favorite fantasy series, become a character, and if she can, survive that way, she will survive in real life. But if she happens to die in the series, then she'll die in real life. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed this. It was not what I was expecting, but in the best way. And I cannot wait to get to this sequel. We have, and I'm so sad about this, but also like it's time, but we have the final book, book 10 of the Dark Olympus series by Katie Robert, and that is titled Shattered Gods. I cannot believe we have made it here, friends. But this one will be following Cersei and Hermes, and I need to know this story. She has consistently been one of the most interesting characters throughout the whole series, and I'm glad that we get to end out the series learning her story. And yeah, I can't wait. We have Every Spiral of Fate by Tahara Maf. This is the fourth book in the Woven Kingdom series, and I actually just finished the second book before I started filming this video. So I'm ready to read the third book and then eventually get to this one. And this is a YA fantasy that has like a love triangle. There's some really cool magic going on, and I am really enjoying this series, and I can't wait to see what happens. Ruinous Ends by Ivy Marie. This is the last book in the this is the sequel to Immortal Consequences. I don't know what the name of the series is, and it's not on the book for whatever reason. But yeah, this is the duology, so I think it's a duology. Yeah, so hoping to end out this series. It's also a dark academia situation where we have 6 students in the afterlife, or kind of in, let me see, they attend an academy in the afterlife. So they're dead, but not quite dead. And so they competed in this competition to try to see who is going to go on to be like the best of the best. And I forgot what the prize was. Clearly I need to brush up on that before I get to the sequel. But yeah, so this will pick up after the aftermath of the trials, and let me tell you, it ended on a cliffy. And so I'm ready to see how this is going to end. Another book I am so happy to have my hands on finally, that is Wrath of the Dragons by Olivia Rose Darling. And this is the sequel to Fear the Flames, the second book in the series. And I'm collecting these in paperback, which means it is taking even longer for them to get to me because the paperback comes out like a year or so after the book comes out, which is ridiculous in my opinion, but whatever. So yes, Fear the Flames is one of my favorite books of all time, and I am waiting eagerly to collect all the rest of the series so I can do a reread and finish it out. This series follows Eowyn, who is kind of a forgotten princess who escaped and built her own empire. She teams up with Caden, who is the biggest and baddest in all of the lands, and they decide to team up to get her dragons back because her daddy took her dragons from her, and also she is going to use the dragons to aid Caden's side of the war against her daddy. But along the way, a lot of stuff happens, and Caden and Eowyn might like each other, and just a whole lot of good things. A whole lot of good things. And I have been dodging spoilers left, right, front, center for this book, and I have been succeeding so far. So yeah, the final book in the Curve series by Danielle Allen, we have Big Girl Blitz, and I have enjoyed reading all of these books. It is a series of interconnected standalones that actually run concurrently to each other, and I really enjoyed that because you're getting to see all the events happen not only from that person's perspective but from their friends as well, and I just thought that was really cool. A little different. Others need to do that more. And so in this one, we follow Jasmine, who has fled her hometown, and the fat phobes who made her life hell the minute she graduated high school. Growing up, her haven was her aunt. Ooh, my bad, y'all. Ooh, fix my leg. Growing up, her haven was her Aunt Addison, and when her health takes a drastic turn, she insists that Jazz should spice up her life, emphasis on spice. But dating is the last thing Jazz has on her mind until Lamar Anderson sits next to her at the local sports bar. He is sexy, fun, and refreshingly drama-free. With him, she's able to pretend that everything is alright. But as real life intrudes, Jazz has to decide if she can leave the past where it belongs for a love that she deserves. And I've heard some interesting things about this book, and it does explore grief a lot. And also, this is long as heck. It's 400 pages, and the font is little. So apparently Danielle had a lot to say in this story. And I am a little nervous, but also excited to finally finish up this series. She Knows All the Names by Michelle Habez Kapora. I tried. And this is the second book in the Throne of Katara series. This is a YA fantasy series that has been compared to Game of Thrones by Make It Egyptian. And yeah, first of all, this book is gorgeous. Look at these edges. This book is absolutely gorgeous, and I have not started this series, but Lex read the first book and enjoyed it, so I'm going to collect them for her. And I think this is going to be one of my priority series that I tried to tackle in 2027 because I can't handle any more series right now. But this will be one of the first ones I am reaching for when I free up some brain space. Another one that I am super excited for, friends, Adversary to the Villain, the fourth book in the Assistant to the Villain series by Hannah Nicole Mayer. And I'm trying to not even look at the back of this too hard because I haven't even read the third book yet. So yes, this follows Evie, who takes a job as an assistant to the villain, and it just kind of goes from there. We hear about all the hijinks and the crazy things that they get up to. We have a pet frog right here who I absolutely love so much. His name is Kingsley, and he provides a lot of comedic relief. But yes, this is like a fun, whimsical fantasy romance. Brigands and Bread Knights by Travis Baldry. Another one going straight to my fall TBR. I absolutely love the Legends and Lattes series, and I'm excited to have something new to read in this series. I had to wait for the paperback to come out of this one too, because tell me why the first book, two books released in paperback first, but then all of a sudden the third book wants to release in hardcover first, and then we had to wait for the paperback. That's trifling. Like, why would you do that? But anyway, I waited, and here it is now. So in this one, we follow Fern, who has weathered the stillness and storms of a bookseller's life for decades, but now in the face of crushing ennui, transplants herself to the city of Thune to hang out her shingle beside a long absent friend's coffee shop. What could be a better pairing? Surely a charming renovation montage will cure what ails her. if only things were so simple. It turns out that fixing your life isn't a one-time prospect, nor as easy as a change of scenery and a lick of paint. A drunken and desperate knight sees the ratkin waking far from home in the company of a legendary warrior, an outlaw goblin with a fondness for silverware, and an absolutely thumping hangover, as together they fend off a rogues gallery of never-do-wells trying to claim the bounty the goblin represents. Fern might find the courage to step off the beaten path in order to find her true self. And Fern was one of my favorite characters in Bookshops and Bone Dust, and so I'm ready to see Fern back and learn a little bit more about her. We have the next book in the Crowns of Nyaxia series. So this is the 5th book, but the first book in the 3rd duology, if that makes sense. And that is The Lion in the Deathless Dark by Carissa Broadbent. And all I'm going to tell you about this, because all I know about this, is that this duology is following Septimus. And if you have read The Serpent and the Wings of Night, then you know who Septimus is. And you know, I'm ready to get to this one because Septimus is a very interesting character, to say the least. And now I'm going to quickly run through some books that I've already read that are in this haul as well, and that's how we'll end this video out. First off, we have The First Family by Granger. This is the 2nd book in the Drew Collins series. I am just collecting the traditionally published paperbacks. I've already read this one, absolutely loaded 5 stars to this whole series. In this, we're following Maggie Gray, who learns that she is some kind of creature and that there is an underground Atlanta where all the magical black creatures hang out, and she decides to attend Drew Collins, which is a magical HBCU in this underground, and learn a lot about herself. She links up with the crew, and you know, it's just a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And so yeah, I'm just collecting these as they come out because I do want the whole series in the trad published version. We have Downtown by J.S. Jasper, and I actually had to pick up a trophy copy of this after I read it because I loved it so much. And it says, to the outside world, Aquila has it all. A popular club she built from the ground up, a safe space for the queer community, and an incredible pair of boots. Aquila has never let anyone close enough to tell them her fears, that a letter from the council threatening to shut her down sits ignored on her desk, that she can't make decisions when offered too many choices, or heaven forbid, the lights are too bright. Phil. So when she meets Tanner, Aquila immediately shuts her pretty face down before she realizes she could be the answer to all her problems. Tanner struts into downtown with her favorite pink briefcase and high hopes. The water splashing onto her heels the moment she enters should dampen her spirits, but she refuses to let it. Aquila appears to immediately dislike her, but Tanner gives her the benefit of the doubt just this once. The bar is a mess, but Aquila is dangerously hot, and Tanner sees something behind her refusal at eye contact. With a deadline looming, will Aquila lose her club or her heart? Sounds cute. Pick it up. It's a short one. It's a good one. And that's all I'm gonna say. Another one that I just finished a couple days ago, The Summer Girlfriend by Christina Forrest. And then we follow Noelle, who doesn't have time for long walks on the beach, brunch with the girls, or summer vacations. She's too busy saving up to go back to college. After recently getting laid off from her book-selling job, her main gig is now serving as a stand-in bridesmaid, which doesn't pay enough for the upcoming semester's tuition. But then the perfect, if unconventional, opportunity arises. Jeremiah, grandson of the founder of Smith's Sweets and well-known baked goods company, once lived a life of frivolity. Since his grandfather's death, Jeremiah has tried to clean up his act, but it's hard to focus when his family's request that he joins them at their summer house in Hart Beach, New Jersey, where his most painful memory lies. To avoid going there, Jeremiah claims he already has plans with his girlfriend, and of course his family tells him to bring her. The problem, Jeremiah doesn't have a girlfriend. After a chance meeting, Noelle and Jeremiah come to an agreement. He'll hire her to be his standing girlfriend for the weekend, and she'll use those funds towards her tuition. She figures it'll be quick, easy money, but as it turns out, Jeremiah's family is lovely, and Jeremiah is even lovelier. Soon, a weekend agreement becomes a contract for the entire summer, and Noelle and Jeremiah will have to keep their hearts in check, or else it's sink or swim for them both. Super cute. Had a good time. Recommended. We have the traditionally published version of Daggermouth by H.M. Wolf, the book that has taken the book community by storm. I don't have to tell you what Daggermouth is about. I have the indie published, but after me and Lex gave this 5 stars, we had to get the traditionally published to have on the shelf, and I wanted my series to match when Python comes out. Love Galaxy by Sierra Brahman. Timmy, a young trash collector stuck in a dead-end job on a garbage planet, finds herself with a golden ticket she never expected. The opportunity to be cast on an interstellar dating show starring the brother and sister heirs to the galactic empire. Through diplomatic challenges and dramatized dates, 24 women will compete to marry the prince and princess and to win the dynasty's favor for their home planet. Timmy may have been handpicked to date the quiet, bookish prince, who is immediately taken by her brash personality and their shared passion for the sciences, but she can't seem to keep away from the princess. And even though she's strictly off limits, their chemistry is undeniable. But when the contestants start turning up dead, whispers begin to circulate that some competitors might be harboring anti-imperialist motivations, Timmy among them. And suddenly it's clear that so much more than feelings are at stake. In fact, very few of the participants of Love Galaxy have come on the show to find love. And this is the first book in the Imperial Broadcast series, and I'm so ready for book 2. I loved this, had a great time. The last 2 books I'm going to talk about together because one I have read and one I have not, but it's a series. So yeah, I have the traditionally published version of Only for the Weak by Natasha Bishop. This is one of my favorite books of all time. So of course I had to get the traditionally published when it came out. And then along with that, I now have the sequel, which is The Art of Loving You. And in this one, we follow Danny Jenkins, a model turned influencer. She doesn't have time for taking a risk on romance. She prefers to keep things casual, but when her mentor Tanya dies, she is brought face to face with a man who broke her heart. Artist Micah Wright is a protector who loves fiercely. He's known as the man who everyone can count on, but he's never forgiven himself for letting down Danny, the woman he still loves. With Tanya's dying wish forcing Danny and Micah back together to complete a scavenger hunt road trip, Micah sees a second chance for them to get things right. Ready to pick this one up, and such a cute series. Love the covers and the art style that they're deciding to do for these. And friends, that is it. That is the book haul. Yeah. I don't have anything to say. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. Anything that you do to support me and my channel, friend, I greatly appreciate it. Let me know if you read any of these, what you thought. You know what I'm saying? And if you have any recommendations for me based off of any of these books, I hope you have the best day that you possibly can. Remember to take care of yourself, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.